Hey, what's up guys? It's Graphic Phoenix, back with another video today. And we are doing the Reptile Room Tour for December 1st. Before I get started, I want to let you guys know that these shirts are on sale right now, so you can go pick them up along with several other different kinds. I'll leave a link on the screen right now, as well as a link in the description. It is the Teespring store, so make sure you go check that out. Before Christmas, you guys will get them, so make sure you order right now. Now, with that being said, I want to say that in the last Reptile Room Tour, I asked if you guys would like me to take every single animal that I have out and hold it and handle it and everything, and everybody was really on board with that. However, I think I might make that like a video series rather than a Reptile Room Tour. Now, with that being said, why don't we dive into the reptiles? We're going to start off this video with the Sheldon. Hi, buddy. Hello. So for those of you that don't know, Sheldon is, I believe, 4 or 5 years old now. He's a Western Hermann's tortoise, I'm pretty sure. I can't really remember off the top of my head, but he is a Hermann's tortoise, and he resides in a 5x2x14 pen. You can see there, that is a 10.0 UVB bulb with a mercury vapor bulb in there as well for heat and extra UVB. I mean, the poster behind him kind of explains what he means to me and who he is in this room. The last couple of Reptile Room tours, we have not been able to weigh him because I didn't know where my scale was. However, that has changed. So he's doing awesome. He's doing great. I can't wait for springtime to get a bunch more plants and put him in here. He just mows them down in about a day anyways. But with that being said, why don't we get to weighing this little dude? Or big dude at this point. Ooh, he doesn't even fit in the scale anymore. 618. Dang. Dude, you're growing. You can see he's doing absolutely incredible. He's getting lots to eat. Lots to eat on. If you're wondering why he's walking really weird, because he ate his palm tree plant. There's a little bit of a shoot sticking out there. But he's doing awesome. I really, really love Sheldon, and I encourage you guys to look into getting a tortoise. Of course, make sure that you can house it and have the space for it. I live in Canada, so it is kind of tough. For those of you that live in the southern states, these guys are perfect. I mean, just look at that face. Can you deny him that face? Look at that beauty. So cute. Now from Sheldon, we can move on to Kai. Kai is, I mean, if I'm just being honest, he's not doing all that well. As you can see, he hates the camera as per usual, but that little cyst on his mouth there is continuing to grow. It's growing very slowly, but it is larger than last time. For those of you that might be wondering why his casque is so inflamed, I actually did bring him to the vet, and if you're interested in that vet video, I'll leave it in the top right-hand corner for you guys to check it out. I'm not going to go into a lot of details right here because you guys will see them there. He's doing okay. I don't know how much longer he is going to stick in here. The last couple days, he's starting to get a little bit more lethargic. Of course, I do have to feed him with tongs because he cannot eject his tongue anymore. I don't want to make him too upset, so I'm just going to stay here. He's in a 4x2x2 Zoom Ed Reptibreeze with a live plant there and some branches up top. He has plenty of UV. He has a 5.0 T5 UVB bulb. There's an 80 watt mercury vapor bulb in here, and then just like a floodlight there for light. It doesn't produce any heat though. Yeah, he's doing okay. Not much to really say about him. I'm still fighting. I'm still working with him. I'm still feeding him. I don't know how much longer he's going to be here. I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but now we're going to move on to Sky, the Meraki blue-tongued skink. You can see him over there. He's doing really, really well. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but Reptile Mountain TV, you guys can go check him out. He's got a ton of different animals, mostly blue-tongued skinks. He's been a zookeeper, and now he keeps blue tongues. Now, he recommended that blue tongues have dog food. That was kind of interesting to me. I've always thought negatively about it. However, I've looked into it, I've done more research, and I tend to agree with him. Now, homebrew, as he calls it, and I'm adopting, which is like the homemade hamburger, lettuce, fruits, that kind of deal, is good on occasion. It just lacks a lot of minerals and nutrients, especially if you're not doing it properly and you're not varying it enough. All those nutrients can be made up for when feeding dog food. I'm currently feeding the Signatures dog food, the duck and the kangaroo formula. Sky loves them. He goes absolutely nuts for that food. I really, really, really enjoy it. It's easy to feed. I feed him more frequently, but smaller meals. And quite frankly, he's just glowing. You can just see him. He's doing awesome. He is still, unfortunately, in his old cage. I talked to my buddy recently, and he just said that he's been absolutely swamped with his real work. He is a mill worker, but he does a lot of different work for larger companies. So he's just been really busy with that and hasn't gotten around to making the tanks yet. With that being said, I'm hoping by the end of December, maybe early January, to have these new tanks. They'll be fully decked out with UVB, heating, and a lot more substrate to burrow in. In addition to that, he will also have a nice humid hide. I'm currently spraying down his tank 1 to 2 times a day just to give him the humidity that he needs, and that seems to be doing okay for now. Now from Sky, we can actually move on to Dixon, the Europlatus guntheri. His tank is doing phenomenal. All of his plants are growing really well. He's got some leaf litter down there. The custodians are doing their job. And he is just over there. Really hard to see, I know. But I can't really rip apart his tank, unfortunately. I will actually insert a couple clips right now that you guys can see how he's doing. Dixon's eating like a champ. He'll take down 3 to 4 crickets every couple days. And he's very, very active at nighttime. So super happy. He's doing really well. And eventually he will be getting an upgrade into an 18 by 18 by 24. But as we all know, I am going to be making Bain's tank next. Now with what little battery remains in my camera, we can actually move to Striker here. He is the OG. He is the first reptile I ever owned. He's a high yellow leopard gecko. Nothing super special about him. He does have a little sad face on the top of his head. I don't know how well you guys can see that right there, but you can see it. He's doing great. He's eating. He's basking, he's chilling, and soon enough he will also be getting a new tank. I'm just working out the details with a custom tank maker to see if maybe we can make that happen, and it looks good so far, so hopefully that will come to fruition pretty soon. Other than that, he's about 12 years old, potentially 13 years old, and he's still doing really, really well. He's right now in a 15-gallon tank. And his setup really hasn't changed in probably 6 or 8 years. You guys can go back and check it out on my old Reptile Room Tour videos. Transitioning from Striker, down a couple stories, we have the widow, Mr. Bowser. Hi, can I pet you? Can I get you? What can I get for you? Huh? What can I get for you? Bowser's actually doing awesome. Since I put him in this new cage, look at those colors. Look at his shed. His shed came off and he is a bright red. I don't know where he thinks he's going, but he definitely thinks he's going somewhere. You can see him there. His colors are absolutely incredible. And he's doing awesome. He's really active. Bowser's doing really, really well right now. Some people might think that he's like really sad about missing Stella or something, but reptiles don't really have that part of their brain. They're not nearly as thoughtful and as, I guess, empathetic and mournful as humans and some primates and things are. So he's doing well. He's getting along just fine. His cage is doing really, really well. Really hot basking spot over there, about 140, 130, somewhere around that range. And then over here again, we have 2 bulbs. We just have a standard daylight bulb and then the Arcadia 14% dragon UVB, so he gets blasted with UV in this tank. Of course, he can get out of the rays under that cork bark, and then there's no UVB on that side of his tank, so he's fully able to self-regulate his exposure to UVB. Moving away from that side of the room, we have Bain. He is still in his old cage. I will actually be starting his new cage maybe this week, potentially in the next coming weeks here. I did add a UVB bulb to his enclosure so he can get some UV exposure. As you can see, his tail is currently getting a little bit of exposure. I shut this light off for a couple days at a time, and then I turn it back on for one full day and just kind of go through that cycle, just so I'm not blasting him with a lot of UV. But you can see Bain here. He's getting pretty big. He's not a little boy anymore. He is gorgeous, though. Holy smokes. I'm still kicking around the idea of potentially finding a mate for him. Right now, it's off the books, but potentially in the future, if I can find a nice lychee and get a good price on it, I might go ahead and breed him. He's doing awesome. He just turned 2 on Halloween. His tank is quite basic, just a large piece of cork bark, the UVB, a feeding ledge, a live pothos, a fake plant, and a couple different pieces of wood. Sticking with the reptile theme, we'll move over to Tigs' tank. You guys can see her tank right here. Tigs' cage is one of those custom PVC cages. It's 16 by 16 by 24, so it's a little bit smaller than an Exoterra, but it certainly gets the job done. And her tank is doing pretty well, I suppose. This mask plant in the middle was growing really well for a while, and then it just started to die back, so I don't know if it's about to shoot out another shoot or what's going on down there. It doesn't look like it, so maybe it hit a rough patch and isn't doing so hot right now. But she's got her feeding dish there, cork tube, some live plants, and as I'm talking about ledges, I have a person that sent me a couple examples of his natural ledges, and I would be able to potentially sell them. So you can see one there. It looks like a piece of cork with some moss on it. And then this one is just like a piece of wood. Again, cork. Like they are this like PVC material, but I mean, for the right price, would you guys be interested in something like this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Alrighty, after having a quick look through the tank, I don't see her. Quite likely either in that cork tube or hiding behind this mass of plants, which is somewhere that she likes to go. So I will leave her be, but you guys can just see a full shot of her enclosure there. And now for the last of the reptiles in this tour, we have our land whales, the golden dust day geckos. Hello, land whale 1. So this is Mr. Floppy. It is a mister. He actually got out the other day and I caught him in a cup. If you follow me on Instagram, links in the description, you will have seen my Instagram story about him. He is a male, from what I can tell at least. So I will probably be keeping him. He's a really cool character, and I really, really like them. They just had their Pangea, so they do look like little land whales. This guy's about ready to bolt. What's up, dude? There we go. Beautiful. Surprisingly, there's actually not that much aggression in this tank right now. Everybody's all kind of figured out their hierarchy and is doing well. So I'm not too worried about any aggression whatsoever. I will have to be separating these guys pretty soon, but one of my buddies actually spoke for them. He said that he would be interested in taking them. So that's kind of nice for me. I don't have to worry about shipping or anything like that. They'll be in Calgary about 10 minutes from me. So that would be ideal. But they're still in just a 12 by 12 by 18 Exoterra with a heat bulb and a UVB bulb. And now, with all the reptiles being covered, we can actually move on to the dart frogs. Real quick though, I'll let you guys know that the Ackies, for those of you that have no idea what happened, I'll link to a vlog I did up there. You guys can go check it out. But I actually shipped them out to Eastern Canada, so they are no longer here. But as you can tell, there's something that has joined the the downstairs basement. And that is this tank that I finally finished. This is the Drylock Tank that I've been working on for like 3 months. With school and everything, I couldn't really work on it for quite some time. But it is done now. You guys can see all the different bromeliads. This one's gorgeous. Like, holy man. We got some orchids. Neophonetia falcata. I don't remember what that is. This is an orchid that my buddy gave to me. There's some Margravia, a biophytum that's been under really intense light, so it's really red. And a bunch of other different plants in here. I will have a video on this coming out pretty soon. I don't know yet. It's going to take quite a lot of editing and voicing over. So it isn't done yet. But you guys can just see, I think it turned out really, really nice. And originally this tank was going to be for the Ufaga Pumilio Elmerente. However, I will be getting 2 more Ryoka Lube Ray coming from Eric in Ontario sometime here early in December. So I'm letting this tank grow out a little bit and kind of settle in for the Ryoka Lube Ray because I'm going to be moving them down into there. And I suppose with that being said, as you guys can tell, they're no longer on the bottom. I moved everybody to be in line, and then the babies are up there. There you go. That's one of the big moments from this tank. The other one is actually in that Fishman glass hut. You can see it. There we go. And the male is probably, or the probable male is probably somewhere down in that back corner under that piece of cork bark because he really hates life as we know it. He's been under there basically since I got them, so I cannot wait to move these guys out of here, and maybe we'll kind of spur on a little bit of encouragement, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully he will kind of get kicked into his senses and start calling and making some babies for me. That would be great. Super awesome little dudes. These guys are incredible. I'm so happy that I have introduced some light back into the tank, and they're not way down there, so they're impossible to see. You guys actually get to see them in a video. Moving on from the Ryoka Lube Ray, we have the... Oh, nope, she hopped away. We have the Colombian turquoise and bronze Azureus. You can see their tank and just how crazy it's doing. You can see just how well their tank is doing. I actually did a really big trim back on this tank because this plant at the very front was going insane and growing really, really tall, so I cut that back. I cut a couple pieces of the Pilea spruciana back, and the rest of their tank is just growing completely wild. I know I saw one of the males just hop here. There you go. Hide for cover! Yeah, they're pretty shy. They are out enough that I really do enjoy them quite a lot, but when you go into their tank, they are quite shy. I guess another couple points that I'd like to point out, we have an insane log. Maybe I'll cut to like just a kind of screen capture, a picture of this log when I first set up the tank. And you can see here just how bare it is and how kind of ugly and how much it's stuck out. Cut back to now, and you guys can see just how incredible this tank has grown in. All that Ficus quercifolia. I used the Any Herp moss spread, and it's actually growing moss. You can see all that moss going on in there. And then we have a manta ray vine, which is extremely rare and hard to find in Canada. And then right next to it is actually a vanilla vine. So this tank is doing really, really well. My favorite dude in the back here, or one of my favorite plants, is this mimosa plant, as you guys might be able to see there. It's the sensitive plant. Obviously it's closed right now, but that's just because the frogs are hopping around, like that guy back there. He is my favorite, one of my favorite frogs that we have, just because of how blue he is. I really like that stark contrast. So, There you have the Dendrobates auratus tank. And second to least, nope, second to last, we have the Ufaga Pumilio Elmerente tank. This tank really does need redoing, and right after I'm done Bain's new tank, I will be working on a new tank for these guys, because this tank is just not very well thought out and not very well planned. The frogs themselves are doing great, but just the plants and all that goes in here are not doing so hot. See, that's one of the females trying to climb this log. Let's just see. Montage clip. Oh, look at that. Look at that feat in climbing prowess. Good job, buddy. Or girl, or whatever you are. But yeah, this tank just isn't really doing all that great. There are still all 5 frogs in here, so they're doing fine, but they're not really reproducing. They're not really doing a heck of a lot, so I want to get them into a new setup. Plenty of Brahms, a little less cumbersome, like a little less on the walls, and give them some more space for them to do their thing, if you know what I mean. But, I mean, until that time, the only reason why I don't like this tank is because of just how, like, grungy it is, I suppose would be a good adjective for it. It's just not looking its sharpest. It gets the job done, though. And last but certainly not least on this tour is the baby Azureus tank. You can see there's a couple of them in there. Couple little babies. They are waiting for food. It is feeding day today. So I'm going to try and get them before they all hop away here. But you can see they're doing really well. They're growing quite well. Very happy with these guys. I really like them quite a lot. And I will probably be keeping at least a pair, if not a trio of them, just because I've raised them up from froglets. They're my first, I guess, tinctorius froglets that I've ever raised. So I might just have to keep them because of that. And their tank currently is just a 12 by 12 by 12 Exoterra with a fluval light on top. And with that being said, that is the end of the tour. We're going to end it on a clip of Kai right now. So if you guys liked the video, drop a like down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, then leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to buy a t-shirt if you want to surprise yourself, your significant other, maybe you have kids, something like that. The t-shirt link is in the description for you guys to go pick it up for this Christmas. And if you're interested in more dart frog, reptile, plant, and the odd vlog video, then definitely subscribe to my channel and you'll not be disappointed. If you would like to follow me a little bit closer, certainly shoot me a follow on Instagram. That is where I'm the most active, is on Instagram. You guys can find me there. The link's in the description. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Happy December. I'm hoping to post a lot more during December than I have been the last couple months. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for some exciting videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Graphic Phoenix, out of here.